Hello, everybody. How's it going? Hope you're having a wonderful day so far. It is January the 21st, the Tuesday, 2025. And we're learning some Python. What do you know? Back again doing our normal thing. How's it going, everybody? Let's go ahead and get some, make sure everybody, the Discord members in here. Script Serpent. Hey, how's it going? Welcome in. How's it going? It's great to hear from you. All right, so I want to set a timer. Right, let's go. Timer. Let's put in uh, 30 minutes. Right, I'm going to set a 30-minute timer for working on a warm up, which is just going to be on the Small Business Manager project. So we're going to do 30 minutes of just continuous work here on the Small Business Manager and get this going. Where did that timer go? Where did that just disappear? 30 minutes. Start. All right. Hey Ryan, how's it going? Welcome back. All right, 30 minutes on the clock. So let's go ahead and do some work here. So I've been thinking about something I want to add here. So what we do need is we need a some information here. So business.py. So in this class, this is going to be a class called business. And when we initialize this class, we're going to have some, a name, which is going to be a stir, a name, and I think that's going to be it, right? For just the initialization, right? That is right. So self dot name is equal to name provided, right? That's the only constructor that is required for this initialization of the business. So this class is going to house like the information pertaining to the business. So we kind of drafted something in the after hours session yesterday. I jumped back on stream for a part two yesterday, just doing some just brainstorming and coding, not really chatting much, just working. But yeah, so and then we're gonna have a a variable called self dot um, self dot details, right, which is going to equal a dictionary. Now in this dictionary, we're going to have some keys and some values, right? So a key value for this is going to be so we have details. So this will be now what if I put name I mean, it's kind of redundant, but you could have a name here. So the details, we'll just pause on the details here. We'll say just self dot revenue is going to be a dictionary, right? We're going to have a key of 2024 or like year. So this is going to be the year. And then the value is going to be the revenue for that year. Should be like revenue. So how should I do it with wanting to insert dynamically the year of the expense or of the sale. So if you put numbers here as a key, numbers can be a key, right? But in our here, 2025, which will take as well, so we just need to know it's integer. So it's not really an integer though, it's a year. So technically it should kind of be a string, right? So we'll say 2025. And then this will be the overall revenue, right? So 0 initially. Or none, rather, just to start. Or I guess it would be okay, so then this would be 2026 and so on and so forth. But we don't need to worry about that now. So we'll just leave it at 2025 for now. So now you'll get just years to add on inside of this revenue dictionary, right? All right, and then so right now we're doing 30 minutes of warm up, just getting our brain going here back into coding, working on our small business manager project. So we're creating a business class, which is going to gather information from expenses that are created and items, and we can house them in this class, right? So we then have self dot self dot expenses, right, is equal to a dictionary as well for a year 2025 and a value of none. I'd say make revenue a separate method that reads the CSV file and generates the revenue. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what we're going to do, right? So we have this is just our container for housing the variables of method per the years, and this is just the constructor. So then when initialized, right, because you have to initialize it each time, we could say update revenue function, right? We could call the update revenue function when this is created. Same with the expenses. Right? For 2025. So then let's just jot down here and say def update revenue which will take in the object itself, right? We are going to say, so from this we're going to need to import all of our from our main file, all of our items and our expenses, right? So let's do from main, import all expenses and all items. Thank you so much for the suggestion, Muhammad. That was a great suggestion. Yeah. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Is we're going to update these keys with these various functions upon initialization. So then we will say for update revenue, we're importing all items, all expenses. So it's interesting. You have to think about this as well. Is in our main function, right? When we call main, right, we load the files here. So once the files are loaded, then we need to create the business, right? So here, once files are loaded into system, create the business, load the business file, right? So it's interesting because if we're going to pull our database, so our all items and all expenses, those get populated. And then we pull those when we make the business afterwards. I think that'll happen, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Hello, Muna. How's it going? Welcome in. Right. So if we're going to import, we got to make sure that these have values in them, and they only get values in them after this section here. Right. So if we load the business here, will these variables contain those items? That's the interesting part. Okay. So if we have update revenue and we say, so we'll make this just a default value of none, actually, right? And we'll override it Hey, David, how's it going? Welcome. What are you working on today? How's it going? It's awesome to hear from you. So it's interesting, if we're calling update revenue, this is going to return a value for the revenue. So then instead, let's call update revenue here. Why isn't this working? Update revenue is not defined. I'm defining it here. What's going on? Am I blind? Hey, LOL, how's it going? Are you refactoring your app? Ah, that's right. Thank you so much. I always forget. So, to update revenue. So then if we call that, right, it's a method on self. So this will be um, mm, not update revenue. Let's just say initialize init revenue. Init revenue. So we'll say um, create a dictionary of year. So how can we, if we do a dictionary comprehension, how can we do this? So we say, well, let's first say for, if we import the expenses and the items, so we're updating the revenue, so initializing the revenue. So the all items is here, right? We need to access each item, the item date sold, right? If item date sold, take the item sold price. Or if item sold price, just take the sold price, right? Because both, I guess, are an indicator of sold in this case. Now, hmm, so we need to go, we need to access the all items. So for item in all items with the, right, it's going to access every item. Uh, if item quote date or sold price. So if items has a sold price, we're going to take that sold price and sum it to the count. Bingo, can update revenue generate the dictionary based on the keys of the years? Yeah, exactly. So total would be 0 and created here. If item is sold price, if item sold price, right? If it has a value for this key of sold price, or this variable, then we're going to take a total blackberries, like the fruit. Yeah, I really like blackberries. Total plus equals item, or sorry, yeah, item sold price, right? Sold price. Cool. So that'll give us a total. Hmm. So how can we filter, right? Now, this is kind of a future effect here, but let's say the year has changed, like in 2024 to 2025. Well, we need to now add a new item to the dictionary. Hmm. So we're summing the sold price across all items. But I want to sum across specific dates of sold. Now, I don't want to specify in the function itself. Hey, Lath, how's it going? We're working on our small business manager right now, just getting a little bit of warm up in, creating a class for business, getting some overall functionality for our business now, to incorporate the expense and items that we've been creating. So, I mean, if think about it though. So let's say you have sold items. No, because the sold price will vary. The first item could have been the last item sold because it's not first in first out. It's just random. So if we wanted to access I wanted to go through for all like years. So what kind of function can I write that will go through, first identify the date sold, identify the year with that, hey Nate, how's it going? Welcome in. Just started watching vid to get into trying Python. I have no experience at all. I haven't made the jump to actually trying it. You for sure should. I made the jump about 6 months ago, and I can say it's been a really fun but yet challenging, and also very rewarding journey here. I've been programming for on and off about 6 months, but more seriously about 3 or 4. We've been streaming every day for the past about 2 to really ramp up our learning and just try to make this thing a reality. Try to see if we can really get good at this. So thanks so much for keep coming in. Appreciate you for jumping in, Nate. We have a Discord linked below with a bunch of beginner resources, so you can follow like a similar roadmap that I did. Okay, so the thing is the items in order by item number, but the sale order is not in order. So what would be like an efficient way? Okay. So Mohammed suggests that we iterate through our all items, create a temporary list or a set, right? That would have unique items and only append. Okay, I like that idea. So let's say years is equal to some empty set. We'll say for all items in items, um, So the thing is this would then, this, if we have a two nested loops, this would just slow down the algorithm. Is the CSV generated or you made it? I generate. I mean, I generate. I made the CSV, but we generate it via code. So, or what we could do is if on launch, on instantiation, we have a check for current date. Hmm. Hmm. So if we have a current date, let's say you load up into 2025, well then it'll know that it's in 2025. It can start creating the 2025 one, but then you'll be left with all the other ones previously. But then you can just go one back until you don't find any more with one less, but you'd be looping n years, or the number of years times the number of items times the number of mm, oh, 2 times n. Okay, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's true as well. So if we have two just for loops, it would just be 2 times n, giving us overall O of n. Um, but just we'd have to do 2 iterations over n, which isn't terrible either. So let's try that. So for item and all items, hold on, let me go ahead and duplicate this down. So for item if so, we're just going to add the sold price, right? What if we do it all at once though? What if we say for items and all items, we add the cells, we add it to our set. So we'll say years dot add item quote sold date, or is it date sold? Date sold, right? But then we'll need to take a slice of date sold because we only want the first 4 characters, so 0 through 4 characters, right? And then we want to return right, so this will slice the first 4 characters from date sold, add it in every item. If the sold price, add it into here. Hey Gina, how's it going? Okay, so the thing is, so I want to be able to generate the dictionary though live. So what if you did like a dictionary comprehension? You said item, date. But that would create a new dictionary for every single item, though. So we have years inside of a set, right? We then add in the years into the set, which means we'll only have unique years in the set. If sold price on this item, right, so then how can I make our sets ordered? Oh, out of time, shoot. Our sets ordered. No, unordered collections of unique elements. Ordered and unique. Ordered dict from collections. Is it dictionary? Okay, so we'll do that. We'll go revenue is a dictionary. We then say years or revenue item date sold so we call revenue item date sold through here like that. So that will add the key to our revenue dictionary. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to automatically generate the dictionary while identifying those unique dates, right? So let's say you have a list of, right, you have a list of a bunch of items that are sold, that are in your database. Some are sold, some are not sold, whatever. So we're iterating through the items in the database. At each iteration step, we are going to save the date sold, the first 4 characters of the date sold. So date sold is represented here in teal, 1/18/2025. So we would save 0, 1, 2, 3. So the first 4 characters in a new, we would take off that for the year. We would make that a key, right? And then we would, if item, so that we'd have to do this here. If item, quote, date, if it has a date sold, which will infer that it has a sold price, we don't need to do that then. We will go ahead and access our revenue dictionary, set a key equal to this, right? And then what we'll do is we'll set the value associated with this key as So if we set the value equal to the sold price at this iteration, hmm. Hey, Trash Ketchum, how's it going? Welcome in. Welcome back. How's it going, Insomniac? How you doing? Welcome back, you guys. You guys are awesome for joining. What's going on with you guys? What are you guys working on? What are you guys studying? What are you guys, any classes you guys are in? How's school going? Tell me about it. What's going on with you guys? So then I want to, would you just call sum here on this? But access this? No, 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 no. So you would access this if it's, you would create this, right? If it isn't there, it would be generated. If it is there, it would be accessed. And we would set it equal to plus equal that. No, you can't. How can I dynamically increase the key while also setting or accessing this key? How can I dynamically increase the value with this current sold price? So we're looping through the values. If we get to an item that has a date sold, then we will go ahead and access the revenue dictionary, set this item date sold as the key, but just the first 4 characters of it, right? This will set that key, or if it's there, access that key. And then how can I just set this key to equal plus equal item sold price, like that, I think. Okay, so I think that's what I was trying to do. Yeah, Mohammed, exactly. So we're going to iterate through every item in our all items dictionary. If we come across an item that has a date sold, right? If we have an item that has a date sold, we will set access or set that date sold with the first 4 characters of it. So this will either access a, in this revenue dictionary or create that new key. And we plus equal that key value, the key to equal a value of items sold price. Gustavo, how's it going? Good evening. How much time do you expect? Do you want? How much time do you want to enter in programming? Do you expect to enter into programming profession? I'm not exactly sure. For those of you that are new here, I have a degree in human biology and a minor in chemistry, and I work as a formulation chemist for a biotech company. So I graduated back in 2021. I got a job right out of college as a formulation chemist, or as a chemist, and I am just teaching myself Python on the side for the past couple of months, just for fun, and also just to teach myself new things. I really find computer science to be interesting, and so this is just a hobby that's turned into more of a dedication to wanting to learn more, and documenting my progress through the stream. So thanks so much for jumping in here with me. If you're new, I have a Discord link below where I compiled all of my resources into like a roadmap for all of for my learning journey thus far. So let's ask, will a dictionary, yeah, dictionaries have unique keys. Okay. So I think that this will work. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and I'm just going to remove this for now. We need to try to test this out somehow. So we're going to return revenue, right? Just like that. So um, let's go here. We have main. So here we'll have to generate the business. So this will be um, from business import all. So here we'll say business name is equal to we'll just say temporary test name, right? That will create the business. We'll save this business as business. Okay. We'll then say so this is going to hopefully, right? My goal here. No worries, Gustavo. I appreciate you so much for jumping in and saying hello with me. You're great. You're awesome. You're all good. So we are gonna generate and load in the items, right? So that'll go and load in the items in this file into our all items dictionary. We're going to do the same thing for the expenses. The expenses are going to be loaded into the all expenses dictionary. We are then going to create load the business from the business file that we'll eventually make. And then from there, the business file imports these two structures. Now, these two structures at the time of generation will house that information. Hopefully, right? Is that how it works? Does anybody know? If I create these, right? And then I create the business, will the business have access to those items in all items? That's my question. One way to find out. Okay, so we generate the business. The business will initialize revenue. Revenue will be initialized and returned back to us on creation. So at this point, we need to print business dot revenue. This will print that value, which should be a dictionary. So let's go ahead and see if this will work. All right, you guys think this is gonna work? Yes? Oh, no. Business is not defined. Name error, business is not defined. Hmm? Enter an item. Business is not defined. I thought I'm importing here. Oh, it's because I'm importing from main these structures. So rather than importing these, so I don't think it, can I import business from partially in? So what's going on here is that the doesn't like that we're importing here. So what can we do instead? The error indicates there's a circular import in your project having two modules trying to import each other. Importing something directly imports. Local imports and side functions or methods when they are needed. Okay, so we'll do that. Hey, so lock in. How's it going? Welcome in. Appreciate you for joining me this evening. How are you doing? Good to hear from you. What's going on? So we go yes. Why am I getting 2 yeses here? Um, Type error, int object not scriptable. Sold. Shoot. Does the business file have all items and expenses too? No, that's what I'm trying to figure out here, is that the all items and all expenses happens in the main file here. So I'm trying to take those what if we just make this none? Go here to our main function, call business dot initialize revenue, which will set self dot revenue equal to revenue here. So now in our main, we'll initialize revenue on that newly created and then print that here. So now, yes. Again, why am I getting 2 1 inputs here? Why am I having to press 1 twice? An object not scriptable. So Larkin says, coding has not been so good lately. Been searching for a bug and for days now. Oh, rough, man. Sorry about that. If item date sold. Int object not scriptable. But my items date sold. So what happens if I were to just take in what if I went one like this? I don't know. I want to keep this in like the other one, but I just don't know how right now. So when you go to that, right? So now we'll actually be able to get that. So in our main function up here, we're going to create the business, initialize revenue on it, and then print the business.revenue. And main clears. So we might have to take this global. What should I make this like variable name? Business details. Right. Go. Is equal to none. Well, global business details. Overwrite it. Details.revenue. Like so. We'll take this, get rid of it here, and put it right here in main. Let's try it. Okay, so we still get this error. Int object is not scriptable. So it doesn't. If item date sold. What does int object not scriptable mean? Object that has an int rather than a dict. So item date sold is invalid. What happens? Your search item. Okay. But it's actually an integer. Oh. Int object has no attribute date sold. For item in all items. For accessing our all items, each individual item which is a dictionary in itself, what happens if I print the item? What's it getting? One. Printed one here. Oh. Accessing our item number. The print showed up right here. None. That came from this print. Here. So if we have a date sold for every item in all items, right, it had none because I got rid of this statement here. So business revenue is initially none because it has none here, right? But I'm iterating through every item in the all items, which should give me access to each row of items. If the item has a date sold, hold on, let me go to transact item. If not, item.date listed. We gave the item. So find edit, we said. If item.date sold, which should access this date sold, which will be here. For item and all items, print item. If item.date sold, access the revenue dictionary. I'm pushing values to all items here. And I'm initializing revenue on the business here. loads items. Well, is this item sold? Yeah. It's a good idea. Let's print the all items dictionary right here and see if we actually just get it for one. So yeah, we are getting it. So I just need to so we got to see. For item number and item in all items dot items, we're going to, if the item's date sold, okay, so now let me go ahead, we initialize revenue here, and then we print revenue details there. So if I run, okay, now we get item object not scriptable. Date sold is empty in my list. Date sold in my list. Item not scriptable. It doesn't like this line. So this would be dot date sold 1 through 4. This will be an F string. Like such, I think. So it's trying to do it. It sees that. It sees the 20. We're almost there. We almost got it. We see the 2025 now. It just doesn't like key error quote 2025. There is no key. So if there is, okay, so if it's not there, we need to create it, else add, right? If date sold we'll do a try here. Oop. Except try this. Except if you get a key error, just make this key with a value So to just create a key, can you just do this? Yes, no, key error. How can I set a key to equal this in revenue? Um, how do you... My all items goes up to date create. What? Hey Sam, how's it going? Hey, return zero. Hey, are you trying to learn Python? Yeah. What are you trying to learn it too? Welcome. I appreciate you coming in, return zero. What are you trying to learn Python for? How you doing? Um, your all items goes up to date created. Date create. I th Oh yeah, because my all items has a stir here that does that. I have a date created here, a stir, a repper here that overrides that. Right. Um, so what was our error? We have a key error going on here. So how can we, if this key is not there, if you get a key error um, when trying to access a key and set a value in the accept, how can I just create the new key? Catch the key, handle the new key error. Try accept if the key doesn't exist, key equals value. So we just have to say is equal to 0. Right, we create it. So here, yes. Oh, yes! Yes! Woo! Let's go, guys. Sorry about your ears if that got loud, but woo, sweet. So what is really cool is I did this pretty intuitively. Rather than creating two loops having 2n time or 2 o of 2n, or having a nested loop o of n squared, I'm just iterating over n once and handling these checks at each step of n, which is really cool. Woo! All right, so now we're getting the appropriate thing. So now let's test this even further, okay? Let's go inventory, Add item, item name, new item, cost, we'll say 10, medium, yes, quantity, we'll say we have uh, 50 of these, okay? So now we have 50 items, right? Cool. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to convert one of these over to a sold item. So we'll go main menu, transactions, or item search. We'll do item number 2, list sold, yes, sold price, whatever, 50, standard, shipping 5. Cool. Now what we'll do is I'll main menu, exit, yes. I'll copy this down. Oh, hold on. The thing is shoot. The item number is hard to test. Okay, so what we'll do actually is this. We'll delete this, copy this down twice, do 3, 4, make this date, right, date sold is in teal, 2025, 2024, and 2023. So now, and then we'll make this a 2025 as well. So it should sum these amounts now, right? And give us all of these unique items. All right, let's try this. Here we go. Here we go. Woo! All right, feeling good. See, this is what's fun about building your own projects is it's really, really satisfying when stuff starts to work. I mean, it's challenging coming up with the ideas, right? But I think it's really, really fun to start from that zero and then and see it come to life. You're like building Frankenstein, building the monster. Not Frankenstein. You're building Frankenstein's monster. Okay, so let's go into the program. Yes. No. Item not scriptable. Type error. Oh, so item sold price. It's item dot sold price. Right, because the item itself is not a dictionary. It's a object still. I'm objectifying this item. Yeah. Sold price. Yeah. Okay, now let's try it again. Here we go. Yes. No. Into the stir. Okay, so we are so I want to access the revenue dictionary for this key. And increase the value of the key by this. So I'd like to say dot value Keys. No. Hey Tim, how's it going? Thank you so much for stopping in. Hey, how's it going, uh-oh. Marquise? Oh, sorry, man. How would you pronounce that? I appreciate you coming in. Thank you so much for stopping by. So right now it's trying to take our sold price and actually increase this key. But I don't want to do that. I want to access the value behind this key and increase it. So in this example, in the try, you increase the key by value. What if you want to access that specific key's value and increase it by value? If you want to access a specific key's value and increase it by another value, but handle the case where the key might not exist, you can follow this structure. Additional value. Awesome, Tim. You're so awesome. Thank you for coming in. So I'll give ChatGPT my bug here. I'll say my error is trying to increase the string key, which is a slice from item.date sold. I instead am trying to increase the value behind that key string. The error indicates the value associated with the key, a slice string from item.date sold in the revenue dictionary, is not initialized or has an incompatible type for addition. You're trying to add an integer type plus sold to something that isn't an integer. Okay, so this is happening because our expenses here, our revenue, should equal 0 when created, not none. Maybe? No. Oh, shoot. Try revenue, f string, item date sold, slice through 4, plus equals sold price. Okay, so now we got in. Okay, so that's where it was throwing up. So we had to set it equal to a value. So if we come across a key that isn't in our dictionary, we want to catch the key error, establish that key, and then set it equal to that current price. Okay, hold on. So now, let me go back. Yes. Now we're being displayed this dictionary with the year 2025 has this much value. Now, why does it have this such a large, string here. Why is it giving me a string here? It shouldn't be giving me a string for shipping for price. Airsick Titan, is it snowing where you are? I heard it's like snowing a lot of places here in the United States. If it's snowing for you, let me know. How's that going for you? If you're new here, thanks so much for following along with me here. I've just been working on my project today. Just taking a day to get, I do a lot of live learning like every day, but every once in a while I want to take a day to, sit down and program and code in my projects to just keep my skills sharp and refresh them, right? I don't want to get lost with it. Okay, so it's concatenating strings here. It's doing the 10,000 plus 5,000 strings. So what happens if I make this not an F string? It still concatenates, but it works. Remove that. So it's getting, but why is it defaulting? If I just come up here and I print item dot sold price like so and run, yes. It's happening really fast, I think. And we're calling main, so I'll go here, take this, I'll put it here. Yes. Okay, so now it's doing that, but it's not giving me strings. Okay, so it's not that. So then in the creation of dot items, does dict dot items return all values in str? No. So why am I getting strings? Why am I getting strings? So if I int this, like so, and then I also int this, what happens now? Now we get all integers. So what was happening was, so 2025 isn't technically an integer, it's a string, it's a year. But you can do math on it. Maybe we should keep it as an int. Okay. So that's doing that. But we're not getting the increase to 10,000 here. So if I int this, no, that doesn't work either. So this will convert the price to an int. But it's not increasing, right? We have a 10,000 here for 2025. So 2025 should be 15,000 cents. Item CSV in my items class. The date is a stir. But the date sold is none. So date price, sold price, this has to be an int as well. If I go back to here. So it's trying to access a string here when this should be an int too. Int in a string. So sold price is also in a string here for some reason. So now we're getting the 15,000. So why though, why are these integer, why are these strings? I don't get it. We load them in, load file. So let's go to our load file for items. If as case is items, we open the CSV. Here we go. This is why. So we need to int the sold price. We need to int the listing price. Date, cost, size, strings, ship method string, ship price. This is also an int. And then, yeah. Okay, so now we don't need to convert those two integers on load when they are converted. So we'll keep convert these to integers. I don't want to convert them to integers actually. I kind of want to leave them as strings. So now I think this will work. So if we go in, yes. Oh. So listing price. Okay, so load file. So it's thank you. So it's trying to integer a none value. Right, that's what's going on here. Is it's trying to integer conversion a none value for listing price because we haven't filled in a listing price. And in my item class, I have listing price is defaulted to none. So that's okay. Let's just go like this then. Instead of inting, so we'll have to keep, instead of inting all of these, we'll just int the sold prices and then leave these as strings. We'll go yes. And now we get it. Cool. Awesome. So the only thing I kind of want, hey Tim, thank you so much. You're awesome. I kind of want to have this be like a class or a method in the class itself. So like the only thing though is we have to import the all items into the business. Listing price equals in row 6 if row 6 else none. I'm not sure if that would work in Python, that specific verbiage, but yeah, that would, you would have to say try except, value error set as none, right? With the order of your if statement with Python. But yeah, I get what you're saying. That's what I was thinking about too, but I didn't want to have to write try statements for each one of those conditions. I mean, I could have wrote a function for it maybe then, but what do you think? Okay, so you can say if after that, after a variable declaration. I've never done that before. So in listing price, you can call int row 6 if row 6, else none, like so. Okay, so then we'll have to do that, I guess, for the other ones as well. So sold price, int sold price, if row 8, else none. I didn't know you could write if else statements in a single line. Ship price would also be an int. If row 10, else none. You have to give a cost of good to define. So then we wouldn't need these int conversions here. Clean it up a little bit. Let's try it. Aha, thank you so much, Lo, I appreciate that. Alright, so you can use if-else statements in a single line. I didn't know that. Learn something every day. Okay, so now we're appropriately getting revenues for every year that we have current values for. Obviously, this is not $15,000. This is 15,000 cents or $150. So if I wanted to try and make this a method for this can I just call this go from main import all items for item and all items if sold, we'll do revenue equal to this, return revenue as business revenue, none there. We'll gray this out. Or hold up, whoops, sorry. Bring this back. Take this for loop, replace this. So if item day sold new, right? And this is going to be self, rather. This is going to be self. So then I'll gray this out and say, go this way. Instead of this here, you'll leave that there, and it will call business details dot revenue, no, dot I will call init revenue on self, like so. So that should just auto do it, hopefully. And then, so let's call revenue is equal to a dictionary, or is equal to the init revenue, and then let's just assign that revenue dictionary that's returned here as such. Go yes here, none. Dang it. So how can I... Oh, this is assigning. Oh, hold on. So we'll just call assignment. We need to return like so. Yes. Okay, that worked. Cool. But why am I having to press 1 twice now to enter my loop? Like that. Why am I having to press 1 twice? Doesn't make any sense. Why am I having to press 1 twice? Right, before I didn't have to do that. If I get rid of this function and I go back, we enter right in. Right in. But if I add this function back, I get stuck in this loop. Why does having to initialize a business cause this stall? That doesn't make any sense. It's coming from this class. In the business constructor, I'm just setting the name given to name, and I'm calling revenue is equal to self initialize revenue. Not doing anything there. I'm just importing all items here. That's the only thing. Why do I get that bug where I have to press 1 twice to enter into my system? We'll go like this. Oh, you're smart. Ha ha ha. Oh, you're smart. Okay, so we have to do from main.py? No, we have to call. This can't be called main. This has to be called start. Let me go command F, go main. See where I'm calling main at. Main menu, main menu, main menu, main menu, menu, main menu, main menu. So no directly main calls. I think it's just gonna be at the bottom, right here. So now if we run this from main, import all items. Yes. No, that didn't fix it. Oh, that's why you, okay, so that's what that did. Okay, so let's go back. Let's set that equal to main. So that's what that constructor, that syntax does. So I always wondered, so that's why you should use the if under name equals quote under main, run main, which only runs main if the module isn't being imported. Ah ha ha. I always wondered what this truly did. Okay, cool. Okay, that worked. That worked. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That worked. Okay. So now let's go here and let's reactivate this to see if this is working. All right, here we go. All right, in total. All right, so we load the program. We are going to create this business after we load this all items file here, right? Our items are going to get loaded into the business class here. In our business class, we are uh, we are on a local level rather than on a global level and worrying about things happening on a global level, which will probably would be fine. I just on a local level here, I imported all items just at this one step, at this one call, right? To initialize the revenue at this current point. Now we'll have another function called update revenue, which will just take the current value, add to it the current sale, and that'll just do the update for whatever. So that'll be another problem. So now if we go here, yes. Oh no! What happened? What happened? No. What happened? Something happened. What happened? Business.py. Business details.revenue. Oh no. No. What happened? It was was working 5 seconds ago. Let me go back. Oh, you know, I bet you. So now we're getting that. And we'll come down here, we'll say if and then run main. Yes. Now we don't get it. So I'll make this function call then start. Like so. Yes. Ah, shoot. So now it's not importing. I think it's because of our file name main as well. So I'm going from main, import all items. Load these. So that fixed that error, but now we're not populating things in appropriately. So what if I rename this? Yeah, all items is a global variable. Main program dot py. We go from main program import all items. That still doesn't work. So it's not nothing to do with the file name. It's this thing here that we added here. From main import all items, which is just empty. What happens if I print at this stage all items? But it starts as a blank dictionary, and since you're not running main, it stays like that when you import it from the business class. So my question then is, I get what you're saying. Right here, I am populating all items with that information. why is it, and then I am pulling all items from here. So how can I get all items to be pulled after this updates in my function here, my program here? I don't want to import start though. I want to just import the list of items when it's already populated though. So instead of doing this, should I just call this function here? And call this function here? But now I'm getting this. Thank you so much. I did, yeah, thank you. I appreciate you for coming in and leaving a comment. You're awesome. Hey, Alice Dominguez, sorry if I missed you. Appreciate you for coming in. So if I initialize all items as this return value, but my load file function now isn't defined. But it is defined down here. Load file. Hmm. So how can I, in the business class, hey Mira, how's it going? We're working on a small business manager project that we've been writing from scratch here. It takes in items and expenses, and now we're working on actually like the business information to. This is why people say avoid global variables if you can. So my next thought is that maybe we should be storing the databases rather than in our main script file. We should be storing our databases within our business class itself. What do you think about that, Slow? So if we move all items, all expenses, and right uh, to the business class, pretty sure you can pass all items as a parameter in the business constructor. Oh, I get what you're saying. Well, that's why I did this here. That's why I put this from main import all items. Because the thing, but what about this is I'm creating the business instance after I've already loaded the items file into the all items dictionary up here, right? And so on instantiation, that's when I do the import. So why is it not importing all items with all of its items, right? I'm creating the business here, which is after the load file. I'm importing after the loaded file. Why? I don't understand why this isn't Why this isn't working? Now, obviously, we're wrong. I'm wrong, right? The code is the program's always going to be right, right? The language. I'm wrong, but I just don't know why I'm wrong. Do you guys know why I'm wrong? Please help me out here if you could tell me. I'll query the almighty orb here. But when you import from main, it literally imports whatever is stored in the all items variable when reading the .py file. But it's only going to import on this local level, right? So if the call is imported here, in theory, you would have items already loaded in, right? Because this construction proceeds. I'm not loading in to the overarching file like above the whole class itself. I'm importing only when this is called. Beamed by sacrifice. Where do you get these project ideas? I want to code, but I literally cannot find the motivation to find a project. Yeah, so I started with Harvard CS50P. My final project for that one was an inventory tracker system. I personally, in my profession as a chemist, I have a degree in human biology and a minor in chemistry. I work as a chemist. I um, I I track and manage a lot of inventory of chemical materials, and so I created just a basic, inventory tracking system to manage that and, reduce amounts, increase amounts, lots, numbers, part numbers, all that kind of stuff. So it's just something that applied to my everyday life, and I think that that is something that is really critical when coming up with project ideas is that you want to find something that you can actually gain some interest in. Now, it is when you're beginning out and you're just starting, don't try to reinvent the wheel in your projects because you're not going to. You're not going to be some, ultimate programmer right off the jump. It's just not true. Don't listen to those YouTube gurus. They are lying to you. You're not going to become some ultimate programmer right off the jump. It is a lot of information you have to take in over a lot of time from my experience here, from trying to do it. I would personally say to try to find simple things that you can just use to kind of, what it would improve your life. Now, would what do I use this inventory system now? No, right? But what I really gained from that project was not the project itself, but was all of the information that I learned from doing the project itself. The real value that was taken away from the project was not the actual, what was coded and what was made, but because I was not reinventing the wheel, I was just making a simple system. But I by going through that process, even though it is simple and not reinventing the wheel and not generally so exciting, To me, it was because I was learning. I was coming up with new things and trying out new things. And it took me a while. It took me, 2, 3 months to build that 2 month or a month and a half to build that simple project, which was just one basic class and a small script. Because it was my first time doing it, right? But I just kept at it, little feature by little feature. Um, hey, Yawan, Sebastian, welcome. How you doing? Welcome. Are you importing business before all items is defined? Yeah. So, business is being created here. Business is being imported here, right? Um, but isn't it called with main by default? Called with main by default. Hmm. I'm not sure what you mean. The business constructor can't see what happened before you call it. It only knows about itself. So does then riddle me this is the business constructor taking a literal screenshot of this code basically and going off of that and taking like a visual reference as to what this object might be. No hablo inglés, my friend, but I appreciate you coming in. Thank you so much for stopping by on. Um, that's what I was thinking is that it's not going to process the all items until it's being. So then why can't I call, this might seem like a dumb question, why can't I call my load file function here? Why is this not defined? If I say def load file, I pass, that'll take the file there, but I have a load file function already. Oh, and because my main, oh, I get you. And because I'm calling start here, technically the start of my file is here. Okay, so this is I'm starting to see what you mean by global variables are kind of looked down upon, right? Would the better approach just be to import this information so it can be accessed at anywhere at any um, scope, right? Is that the solution here? Is just to bite the bullet, move our kind of our data structures here into the top level structure of the business and then import things in so every scope has access. Better to pass all items to business. What do you mean, Lo? How can you pass? What is? How would you pass all items to business? Right. Awesome, Johan. That's great. Highly suggest if you're a beginner programmer to take a stab at the Python Crash Course. Great book that I read alongside when I took Harvard CS50P, and it just really helped solidify the gaps and get me to this point where I am now. Obviously, with a lot of practice. Does that mean create instance variables? Pass it as an argument when instantiate a business object, meaning it's another parameter in the constructor. So it has to be a parameter in the constructor. Oh, I get you. All items in type dict. Right. Self dot all items equals items equals all items, right? So I'm going to make this just inventory to make it a different variable name, even though it's just a copy. So then this would be not here, or I guess you could say all items still. Right? But you just have to call self dot all items here. Okay, so what we did for the solution is like SSLow, thank you so much for your suggestions, is we pass, instead of trying to import the data structure of all items into our, no, let's fix this, into a local scope of our business class on the initialization of revenue, we instead pass the all items dictionary upon instantiation at that level and then manipulate a copy basically of that pass through. SSLO, is this a reference? So if we pass all items into this constructor and it is saved as a new variable, is this a reference to all items, or is this a completely new object in memory? I would have to go like this to create a copy, right? It's passed as a copy. So by passing the variable into here and it saves as self dot, it already copies it. I don't need to do a slice copy. Hey Matt X, appreciate you coming in. Hey Michael, I'm new here. Just curious about what project this is about. Yeah, so this is a project that we've been building completely from scratch. I've been kind of leveling up my projects that I've since I started. Um, and so I started about my beginning of my journey. I started with Harvard CS50P. Highly recommend taking that course if you're looking to get started with Python and programming in general. Currently, right now, we are taking the Harvard CS50X course. So if you're also a beginner programmer and want to take that course alongside me, like with a partner, and have someone that you can hold yourself accountable with, get help from, If you're stuck, you can use my solutions, things along those lines. Join my Discord. I have a thread going where I'm updating live the weeks as I complete them. We're currently on week 3, and which is really great. We're moving on really smoothly on that. But I highly suggest you take a Harvard CS50P, which I will also be updating in my Discord shortly. I need to get on that with my. I had to pull all my stuff from the past because I did that last summer. But I highly suggest you take that with Python Crash Course, the book. Read those two in tandem, and I have a PDF of the Python Crash Course in my Discord as well, along with my personal notes and resources. I also have a GitHub where I solved all of the try it yourself practice problems in the book. So I have a lot of resources for beginners, like a roadmap in my Discord link below. And thank you so much for following me, guys. I have a 9 to 5 job as a chemist. I work as a chemist, so I've been learning this just after my job every day. So little by little. Appreciate you for coming in, Matt. It's awesome to meet you. Um, Dunson says, "Hey Dunson, I appreciate you coming in." Dunson AJ says, "No, you don't have to create a copy. You just pass it when you initialize the class. Yeah, and even if it's passed as a reference, you're storing its value in self.all items, which will be a copy anyways." Awesome, Matt. That sounds great. So yeah, even if it's passed as a reference, you're storing its value in self.all items, which would be a copy anyways. A copy of the variable. It would be a new alias though, right? It wouldn't be a. I'm. Is it a copy or is it an alias? Because I think I want to make a copy on this level because I don't want. No, I think I'd want it to be an alias, right? Because I want it to directly reference the live master list of all items, basically. Okay, so let's try this out. So now this should work, but we need to, first, in here, we have to pass the all items is equal to all items, right? Dictionary at this global scope. Um, and so then we'll print the revenue here to make sure it works. So let's go here, enter. Come on, fingers crossed. Ah, come on. Show me the money. Yes. Woo! Oh, feels good. Feels good. All right. Sweet. So my goal here is obviously, as you can see, we have 1,000 lines of code here, tons of functions. So my current way of doing these kinds of projects is to kind of use functions as menu hopping. So like I've created these kinds of menus within using strings and I have these functions to hop from menu to menu to menu, basically looping through these menus. Now I have operational functions below them that manipulate various things within these menus. So what I need to take my goal here was right. I had this initially implemented into here as another operational function, but it really pertained directly to the business class. So I wanted to make it a method within the class to kind of clean things up, and I need to do that for a few more things like expense search. Like this directly pertains to the expense class, so I need to come back through and refactor some of these functions into actual just methods pertaining to the class itself, or instance methods. Um, it's just to clean up this code because it's getting it's getting real lengthy here. All right. Yeah, you're right. It'd be an alias in that scenario, but I'm pretty sure Python passes a copy. Yeah, okay. I worked as a data analyst for a chemistry department and learned Python in my spare time. I have been a software dev for 2 years now. You got this. Oh, Jason, awesome. That's so cool. I really appreciate those words of encouragement. Do you mind sharing some more about your experience? I currently work as a formulation chemist for a biotech company. I make biological controls that are used in clinical diagnostics and patient diagnostics. So really quickly, if you have a patient with a disease and a physician is trying to diagnose them or whatever, they would to verify the validity or the success of their calibration and their test, whether it be their blood or urine or whatnot for their patient. they would compare the results to the known and verified ranges of my my calibrator or my control, right? So I provide like these are if you run this control, you should be getting this value back for this specific test if you are you have everything correct in your system. So that gives that physicians the peace of mind through the FDA and everything. So that's what I do currently. I've been doing that since I graduated back in 2021. But Jason, yeah, that's a really cool experience. I'd join my Discord and shoot me a message if you feel so inclined. I'd love to hear more about your story um, and talk to you about it. Uh, cool. All right. So today, all right, I kind of goofed up, you guys. I initially set a timer for 30 minutes to be a warm up for today to working on our project, but the 30-minute timer turned into 2.5 hours of just grinding through our project here. I'd say instead of using the during the import specify the actual objects you need makes it easy to debug. Yeah, I just did the asterisks here for the imports just because I'm not importing like really anything. Like I'm only importing a single class with all of this stuff that it inherits. So I'm like it's not common good practice to use the the unpacking operator or this asterisk to unpack all of the globals or whatever. But in my globals very file, I only have just two globals and stuff. So it's obviously if I had specifics, I would be specific here, but it's very just limited with the scale of this It's not too big right now, so I felt that it was kind of okay. But yeah, that's a good suggestion though, for sure. Thank you so much, Dunson. Appreciate you for coming in tonight. You're awesome. Okay, so we successfully, now let me go ahead and we need to remove in our main function here, we need to remove this print here. So now you guys, we added in, let me remove this. And we have business class here. And then we have here, and then, what? Wait. I thought we created a, yeah, okay. I worked with GCMS instruments to measure trace amounts of substances for clients. I did a lot of self-learning and eventually a boot camp to have more structure and accountability. Oh, wow. I currently work with immunoassay instruments like the Siemens Dimension series, the Abbott Architect series, the Beckman Access, the Beckman AU series, um, the Ortho Vitros series, the I think it's called the Thermocryptor is another instrument, like an analyzer. But these are like immunoassay analyzers. Mahesh, how's it going? Michael, thanks you so much for joining me here. How's your Python going so far? How's your journey? It's going really good. Sticking to our everyday studying has really helped. I've been I think rapidly improving in just my general knowledge of programming and computer science. We're taking currently Harvard CS50X, which is their general computer science course and introduction to programming. So if you're a new programmer as well and wanting like a more stable, solidified course to follow, please consider doing that course alongside me. I'm posting all of my resources in my Discord live week after week after I complete everything, and I'm streaming my entire progress of that course live from watching the lectures. I also record them and re-upload them as condensed versions that are edited up. I stream me solving the problem sets. What time do you go live on YouTube? Around 7 p.m. every day, PST, Pacific Standard Time, around 7 p.m. And then on the weekends, I'll try to come on a little bit earlier in the afternoon, maybe around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon to help get some of our East Coast friends in here and international friends. We have a lot of people from all over that I know my time zone doesn't really work for everybody. Again, I do have a 9 to 5 job as a chemist, so I am teaching myself this every day after my normal 8 hour workday. So I I've been putting in, for the past two so months, a month and a half to 2 months, we've been streaming every day, and made it a goal to really try my best to do that, and we've been being successful in it. Oh wait, ChatGPT is telling me Python passes references to objects like dictionaries. Yeah, that's what I thought. Is I think Python tries to optimize the memory usage as much as possible within its, under the hood. And so I think it just passes in an alias reference to that specific memory location. And so um, it would just be redefined. See, if this all items in my main function is saved at memory byte location XYZ, well then you can access memory byte location XYZ by calling self.allItems in this creation. Yeah, exactly. It's just an alias, though. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Johan says, brother, how do you teach yourself? Yeah, so at the beginning of my streams, we usually do live learning. So, like I said, we do Harvard CS50X. We watch the lectures. We read out of books. We read Python Crash Course. I have Python Machine Learning. I also have Python um, Fluent Python that we're going to get into eventually. I haven't started machine learning or Fluent Python yet, but soon, soon. I'm really excited to get into those soon. But we're currently reading on the stream. Oh, it looks like it uh, got lost here. Let me pull it up here. We are currently reading on the stream data structures and algorithms in Python. So we've been reading this entire book live, and we're currently on chapter 8, which is trees. We're on page 330, I believe. Yeah, we're on breadth first tree traversal. So we're on page 330 of chapter 8 of data structures and algorithms in Python. This book can be found in my Discord, link below, a free PDF with all of my notes in my GitHub, everything. I'll show you here. I've been taking live notes in the entire book, so I have notes for every chapter that that look really good. My personal notes on everything that we've been learning, and then also we have practice problems that we've been doing over the course of the entire book at the end of the chapters. So a lot of really good content here if you're looking for DSA in Python. This has really helped when we're taking CS50X right now, and he's mentioned, we've talked about time complexities, and it was really, really easy for me to understand that and re-solidify my knowledge because we already had that background. Okay, right. Casanova, hey, thanks for joining. Appreciate you so much. A quick question: where would you recommend starting for Python? Yeah, just like I said, I highly recommend joining my Discord, link below, and getting access to the Python Crash Course PDF, and doing this one, and really taking your time to go through the examples. Yes, they might seem childish and silly by being dog, cat, car, kind of examples like that, but by breaking it down to something very kindergarten, and not it's not kindergarten in the sense that it's like for kids, but it is um, it's just brought down to a level that these concepts can be understood without having to understand the syntax behind things. And so I highly suggest working through this, following my try it yourselves that I post live on my channel, following my notes, and then doing Harvard CS50P alongside it. I felt that CS50P was a great beginner course, but it did have some gaps that in my mind. It didn't do a great job going into detail about the why and the uses behind certain things. So this book really does a great job of filling those gaps. So in my Discord, linked below, highly suggest. Thanks so much for joining, Casanova. Um, Aiden Seals, hey, how's it going? Hey, Michael, today was my first day of college course studying computer science. I said it was I've said it before, but seeing you get to work each night always inspires me to do more myself. Awesome, Aiden. I really appreciate your positivity and your kind words. You're so nice. I really wish you luck in your computer science journey. I will say I'm quite jealous that you're back in class learning this stuff. You know, I'm really envious of what you'll be learning in your classes. So if you wouldn't mind, you know, if you stop in, let me know what you're working on, and you know, if you have notes that you want to share with me or things that you find interesting that you're learning about as current computer science students or whatever, please share them with me, whether it is on messages on Discord or in the chat or whatever. I really am interested. I've honestly been contemplating going back to school for computer science, and all this you know, work that we're doing now will just set us up to be a really successful student, and hopefully be able to succeed and be, you know, you know, a top performer would be my goal. So, you know, all this stuff right now, if we do decide to go back to school, then it would just be a cherry on the top, right? We'd be setting ourselves up for success. Thank you so much, Aiden. I appreciate you. Dunson, one question. Why do you have a different all items variable if you already have it initialized in the class? Why do I have a... Are you talking about here? Well, don't I have to assign the variable to some sort of uh, specific instance in order to access it in this instance of self here? So yeah, I passed all items into it, but I have to apply that passed in parameter to the object itself, and then I can access that object, you know, variable, and apply this method to it. Does that answer your... What you are, is that answer your question? You already have it initialized in the class. The only reason I can think of is that he wants to do the load file operation outside of the business class. Hmm. Yeah, because I have the load file functionality happening in here because I've dynamically created my load file. Now I need to optimize it a little bit better, I think, and maybe not use CSV but use JSON for the items like we did for the expenses. But I have just this one function with a type. Now I know type is, sorry, pardon me, is a keyword in Python, but I'm overriding the keyword to be declaring like a flag almost for these types of file paths basically. Now, in this one, I need to optimize. As you can see, I have expense.json, which completely just f-string and populates into this open function. But here I have items, which just has items.csv hard-coded here. So I do need to update this a little bit, and then maybe even consider just changing off of CSV. Because look, JSON was like 10 lines of code compared to CSV, which is a lot. And recently they allowed JSON, I think, into Excel, which was my original excuse was to have CSV because the user might use Excel or something for their inventory and for swapping things around or whatnot. So, but if JSON is also, you know, convertible into Excel, then all right, Casanova, I appreciate you coming in. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for stopping by. I'll look forward to connecting with you in the future, though. Appreciate you for following along and being here. You can call self all items equals blank dictionary. I can call self dot all items equals blank dictionary here, and then just access all items that was given up here. But I don't want to set it to a blank dictionary. I need it to be the all items that are passed through. Right. The whole point of doing this is so we preserve the all items that are generated in our main program here, without having to import from main all items. Instead, we're just passing the in on construction. But what do you think? Oh, got it. Okay, so are we on the same page here? I appreciate your input, Dunson. This is great. No, I really like this dialogue, just being able to talk it out. Like for beginners out there like that are like myself, you don't devalue or underestimate the power of just like in CS50 they talk about talking to the duck or whatever. Well, you guys are kind of like my my rubber duck where I'm just talking to you guys aloud and solving my problems just by me kind of repeating myself over and over again. I'm like, oh, that doesn't really sound right. Or, you know, you'll really be surprised by the power of just talking things aloud to yourself. I was also going to suggest self all items equals a blank dictionary. So why would I do that? Why can you guys explain why you guys recommending to do a blank dictionary here? Because then if I call self.all items on a blank dictionary, I'm not actually accessing these. Also, instead of overriding type, use underscore type or type underscore. Yeah, that's a good idea too. I'll have to do that as well for these. Yeah, I'll have to update that. We'll save that for next time. But if you intentionally want to do load file stuff outside the business class, then you don't need it. Oh, so you're suggesting that by creating this here, and then loading files into here. But what would be the point of passing this into a constructor then? Right? There would be no point in this. Because if I have, because I'm accessing the all items dot self here, right? Which is pulling this blank dictionary now. Instead of the all items. Right. But I appreciate, what do you guys think about that? Yeah, in that case, you wouldn't need to pass it into the constructor. Okay. Okay, cool. So maybe what I should do then, you guys, is I mean, do you think it would be worth it to refactor it down for the long run, right? It might be work right now, but would it be for the long run better to refactor our main program down to have the load file, the the data structures of our all items, our expenses, everything be housed within the business class? And then on construction, you do these searches and whatnot. I mean, it's definitely a thought. What would you guys do in this situation? Tell me how I'm wrong. What would you guys suggest? Check my phone here real quick. Yeah, I can tell you from experience it's easier to refactor now than wait. Yeah. So we had this instance arise before where we refactored this our program already once, and it helped us drastically. So I kind of agree with you that if we're gonna do it, we might as well just do it and get it over with. So maybe tomorrow or this weekend we can take some time to refactor this down into a more all segregated but also purposeful setup here. Yeah, and we definitely need to be thinking about project design. This is only going to help us. This thinking that we're doing right now is only going to help us in the future, right? When we make more projects and stuff, it's only going to help us to work right. Even if I don't do it perfect right now, I'm learning from it. That's okay. Like this project's not meant to be perfect. It's going to do what it's going to do, but the code at the end of the day is not going to be perfect. But as long as I learn from the incorrectness, then that's what truly matters. But all right, that's a great. I think that's a great place to kind of wrap it today. So, all right, thank you guys so much for joining me today. I really, really appreciate it. We streamed for over 2 hours and 48 minutes. So, a really, really good stream today. Like I do say, I do have a 9 to 5 job, so this is I do put in quite a bit of hours, and but it's just I really enjoy doing this, so I have no problem doing it. I really like hanging out with you guys, so I really appreciate spending your time with me here, and also working on your own education, embedding yourself in your skills and your own programming. So thank you so much for pat on the back to you for joining me here. If you guys are in school, let me know if you're in school and what you guys are working on. If you're working on projects, communicate with me. Join my Discord link below if you're a beginner looking for a roadmap, or even if you're an advanced person, working on, other forms of programming, and you want to just kind of be in a part of a community of, friendly and people that maybe we can work on something in the future together. But I really, really appreciate you guys joining me. I stream every day from 7 p.m. PST during the week, and on the weekends, a little bit sooner than that. I announce my streams in my Discord link below, like I said. We recently crossed 1,000 subscribers on the channel, which is so, so awesome. Thank you guys truly, truly so much. I can't believe that I have kind of generated this community of people that's supporting me, but also everybody. And I am doing my best to try to keep it alive and keep content coming for you guys and keep hanging out with you. So I really, really appreciate you guys. I say thank you all the time, but you guys truly don't know how much it means. I never thought that this would be possible, and it is. So thank you guys again. Yeah, so today we worked on the small business manager project. We didn't really move on to anything else. I got really kind of into this, and I enjoy, I enjoy these coding sessions, and keeping up with my skills. And you always got to keep programming and coding along to your learning. So we implemented a business class, right? We have an expense and items class, which you can create individual instances, but we need actual to capture the general overarching information provided from those transactions of items and expenses. Well, the business class will house information like total revenues, total expenses, and so we'll have various methods to update as we add items and add expenses. The overall business will increase in size or whatever, in terms of its information, as it grows with increasing transactions and so what and so forth. And so then the business class will also be the class that's generating these reports back to the user for, like, what was my revenue from 2023 to 2025? Oh, this was my revenue. What was my adjusted revenue for expenses? What was my my net? So we can have all these reports come back to the user by managing all of these angles of data, and kind of create a one-stop shop for a small business user. Because not if someone's just wanting to sell clothes and they're an artist, they might not know how to set up a how to track expenses and inventory well. And I don't, I'm tired of having things be like charged and you have to pay subscriptions for things and stuff. So I was just going to make this. I myself, me and my girlfriend, we resell like vintage clothing. She really likes to source and find really nice, unique vintage clothing, and then provide them to customers at a very reasonable price, just to help with the environment and also with her hobby of just vintage clothing. Our goal isn't to turn a large profit. It's just mainly to be sustainable. It's mainly a sustainable kind of break even kind of model. Um, and so with that, I have to manage all these inventories and expenses on my own, like outside of the stream. So it's just another thing that I have to do. And so by having a program like this is just like an example of what I was talking about earlier of realistic projects that aren't reinventing the wheel in any way, right? There are other softwares that do this for us, but I'm just doing this in a way that A, I'll get some education and learning out of it, a lot out of it, a lot of education out of it, and B, I actually will have a program that I can kind of use because I'm kind of getting to the point where I can kind of write some cooler and cooler stuff. Before it was just a simple inventory system, and now we're actually generating business analytics and metrics for small users. So it's really cool, and we're accessing files and everything. So I appreciate you guys joining me. Tomorrow we'll jump into probably we'll take a stab at Harvard CS50X week 3 and get some work on the problem set for week 3, or we'll continue on with our learning and data structures and algorithms in Python. Whatever, I kind of just play it by ear and whatever I'm feeling that day, just to keep things shaken up. So again, join me on the Discord. Thanks so much for following me, you guys. You guys are awesome. The backbone of the stream is you, so I appreciate you honestly every day stopping in and focusing and working on yourself, whether it be watching what I'm doing here or just having the stream on in the background while you do your own work or your homework. We're just holding ourselves accountable, hanging out together, having fun, programming and learning. So currently, this is not on my GitHub. It's just a Git file, Git repo locally on my system. But when I get kind of like a working 1.0, I will push it to GitHub. I didn't want to prematurely push it because I kind of wanted to keep it till I got something actually working and stuff. I know they say to push early and often, but I wanted to have something that actually could be used and not just broken over and over and over again. But then my goal also, I know I'm rambling here, my goal also is to, once I have a working version 1.0 that does everything, to generate a version 2.0 that will actually run off of a GUI. So I have this program here that we started on. It was like a Saturday one. We took an hour or so just to kind of dabble with Tkinter, and we created this little GUI interface. So it's pretty cool, and hopefully eventually we can continue on after we get a working version 1.0. We have now a GUI that we can have buttons to add items and stuff, and it would be cool. So yeah, that's a good idea, Dunson, is to push it and make it private and make it public when you have a 1.0. So that's probably what I'll end up doing. I don't know why I don't think of these things. You guys, that's why I like you guys, because you guys give me such great suggestions. But yeah, I'll probably do that tomorrow. That's a great idea for tomorrow. But tonight, I'm gonna just hang out with my dog and watch a show before bed. Like I said, I do have a job tomorrow morning as a chemist. So, anyways, join my Discord, chat with me, ask me questions there. I'll see you guys tomorrow in the stream. Give me suggestions if you want to see any resources or learning you guys want me to do or would find useful. Currently, I'm been learning Python, but I have been starting to learn C as well. Um, and yeah, so thank you guys so much. I will see you later. Yeah, Lo, I will have to do that private repo. Thank you guys for that suggestion. That's a great idea. But see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.